don't know, there's some cowboy ghosts around here, so you might get action that you don't expect. Okay, the hotel was built in 1910. Started out as a high-end hotel for the cattle drivers that were coming through. About 1920, it turned into the brothel. It was a brothel up until 1950, when it was outlawed. And when Miss Josie passed away, they went ahead and closed it down after that. And then it was a boarding house up until '89, and then it's been Miss Molly since '89, back into the hotel. But there's quite a bit of I found out some information about Miss Josie King, who was the madam during the brothel. That's where most of my spirits are coming from here, that have showed up so far. It's the girls and the gentlemen, which I'm looking over there because that's usually where you hear them. This room is more active for those kind of sounds, if you know what I mean. The kind of sounds that you might not want. But and of course, Miss Josie's room, Josie King, she was the madam, and her right-hand man was William something. We never got his last name, but they called him Bill. But he took care of the gentlemen out here while Josie took care of the girls. And these rooms, the doors in between these three rooms used to go all the way around, because that's the way the girls would go, because they weren't allowed to come through the parlor around the gentlemen. So they'd be in Miss Josie's room, and she'd send them to whatever room William sent the gentlemen to. But so that's how those came about. And then when they remodeled, of course, they closed these off and just left these. And I have those for like families come and open the door in between and stuff like that. But Miss Josie left. She died in 1950, which is ironic because she was 50 years old, and died right downstairs. There used to be a beauty salon downstairs, and she walked in to have her hair done and had a massive heart attack. Killed every day. So I guess she came back upstairs because she's still in her room, and people will see her white apparition at the end of the bed. She just stands down there and watches people sleep. Probably wonder why they're not paying her, but taking her bed. But yeah, I've had a couple people run out of there scared, but she doesn't hurt anything. She doesn't bother anybody. She just stands at the end of the bed. If you just happen to wake up at that time, of course between 3 and 4, you'll see her. But if you don't, you'll never even know she's there. This room has got 3 spirits in it. I've got Emma in there, which is our little girl. She was born to one of the prostitutes in that room. And her name was Mary. Her mom's name is Mary. And she came back and joined her in there. But Emma lived in there with her mom for 7 years that she was alive, and she had to stay in that room all the time, so she's like blocked to that room. Sometimes when her mom had gentlemen in there, she'd have to go in the closets, sometimes all night and stuff like that. So that closet is really strong, negative energy in there. There's a male entity that has came back and joined them in there. We don't know his name. He doesn't really talk. But he just says he's in there to protect Emma. So we're kind of thinking maybe it's her father. I mean, her mom was a prostitute, so who knows? But maybe he knew her better than we do, and he knew that was his baby and came back to join her in there. Because he's very protective. Because a couple of times it happened, and I had to start warning people afterwards, because this bed closest to the door is Emma's bed, what we call Emma's bed, and because she sleeps in it, whether anybody's in it or not. So she'll sleep with you tonight if you're in it. But yeah, she loves to cuddle, so she'll be up there. But if men sleep in, like if one of the guys slept in that bed, they wouldn't be in it long, because he'll choke them until they get up and leave.
That's your challenge tonight, Chuck. It's like, I'm down.
Yeah, I had to start warning people after that. It happened a couple of times right after he showed up, because he hasn't been here. I guess he got here last year. I guess it's been about a year he showed up. And after he showed up, a couple of guys got choked in that bed. So it's like, and got up and got right out. But texted me from the car with him. But so I started having to warn people not to sleep in that bed. Single males or even grown teenage boys, either way, no, it's not good. They'll get choked. But that's why too that we're kind of figuring it might be her father. But I have two boys here. They're my tricksters. They're probably the ones that are going to interact with y'all more than anybody tonight because they're very social. Stephen and Daniel. Stephen's 12, Daniel's 9. And they clean room 6 for some reason. I'm not really sure why or where they even came from. But unless they lived here when it was a boarding house, maybe. And maybe that's the room they stayed in. I don't know. They haven't told me that much. But I know they're just friends. They're not brothers. And I did ask them that, and they told me no, they're just friends. But like I said, they're my little tricksters. They're the ones that pull people's covers off. They'll hide your stuff, dig in your bags, turn off lights, shut doors. They just do all kinds of stuff. Play on the stairs, and they live play on the stairs. You'll hear somebody like running up and down the stairs. There's nobody there, but they do it all the time. And when I used to have my other curtain hanging up there, they used to open it a lot. That one's not so easy to open, so they don't open that. They don't mess with that curtain anymore. But which I'm kind of glad because every morning I had to get up and I'd shut the curtain because for some reason they just like to leave it halfway open. But that's what they do. They mess with things. They're just bored little boys, and so they mess with things. That's what they do. But they're very friendly, very sociable, especially Stephen, the 12-year-old. He loves to talk. So if you get a hold of anybody tonight, or if you use the rods, he loves to use the rods to talk with. He'll go crazy with those. But yeah, that's my boys. And Jake, room 7. Everybody knows Jake, or down here pretty much. Even down in the bars, the girls down in the bars know him because he lived here the whole time. It was a boarding house and passed away just of old age in room 7. Lived in room 7. But he used to frequent all the bars and stuff down here, so the girls know him because he still goes back to the bars and they'll see his apparition at the end of the bar at night after it closes and stuff. And they're cleaning up and stuff, and they'll see him sitting down there having his beer. And I'll know when he's home because he'll go there and shut his door. He turns on his lights. I'll hear his spurs on the floor because he always wore spurs. So you'll hear him on his wood floor very easily. Sometimes he'll come home and get aggravated if somebody's in his room, and he'll sit there and pace on the floor in front of the door until they get up and open the door. But yeah, because he can't go in there because somebody's in his room. So he'll just sit there and pace back and forth. Then you'll hear his spurs on the floor. There is a guy that's on the stairs, and I don't know why he wants to hang out at the stairs, except that he died on the stairs. That was only about 10 years ago, and he was drunk, and he was standing at the top of the stairs, fell all the way down, broke his neck, and died at the bottom of the stairs. He likes to push people down the stairs, so please hang on to the bar when you go down the stairs. He'll even push you up the stairs sometimes. But yeah, so be careful on the stairs, please. But as far as negative, here, Mr. Protector that won't tell us his name in room 3 and dude on the stairs. That's about the only negative I have. I have Bobby in my bathroom. I almost forgot about Bobby. Can't forget him. Actually, I have a picture of him, and those books that are sitting over there were in all 3 of those books, or all 4 of those books. And the pink one is People's Experiences. That big book that's on the bottom, if you'll hand me that, I'll show you Bobby.
I have one.
But yeah, a couple of those I got down from the
There's
museum.
somebody down there. Are you expecting somebody?
Christine and my kids. Oh wait, what about?
Broken thing.
But she was texting at the door. I don't know if she was just putting information in
Yeah, that happens a lot. But Bobby's a little kid that hangs out in bathroom 2, and I don't know why. I don't know where he came from. He doesn't talk to anybody. But you will see him if you walk in there sometimes.
You know which bathroom I won't be using.
I had one.
I know, I always have stuff happening in bathrooms.
But she has a huge fear of
No,
bathrooms.
stuff happens to me.
Him in the window.
Oh,
This
nice.
guy, Michael Graves, that wrote this book, he actually came here and stayed a couple of times.
It's
And,
nice.
He caught Bobby looking out the bathroom window.
So out that side.
Is it true?
Yes, out the bathroom. Yeah, the second bathroom. There is
The
a
one in the
female in
corner.
bathroom one who was shot to death.
You're
in the
asking about the
bathtub, and
bathroom. It's the one in the
she's
corner.
off
It's the
bathroom
one that stuff happens. It's where
How
Bobby's
long
at.
ago was
Oh,
that?
okay.
It was back when it was brothel. She was one of the prostitutes. And she was shot in bathroom one over some money situation or something. I've got Marge in the kitchen. She's my cook. And she lets me know she's in there. She doesn't want the crowd in there, so she'll probably talk to y'all if y'all crowd it up because she gets aggravated. But she let me know the first night I was here, she was in there throwing stuff around the kitchen. So I'm like, that's fine. I know you're here, but you have to share because I have to live here. So. And she calmed down. But yeah, if too many people are in the kitchen, she'll let you know right away because she doesn't like a lot of people in the kitchen.
Nice.
But that's the only ones that I know of personally that I've had to deal with since the 4 years I've been here. And other than that, I mean, the place is crowded with them. I've had so many mediums come here and tell me how many, this place is just crowded with spirits. And of course, it's 115 years old, so you would think it would be. And being a brothel back in the day, yeah.
The Mudrat.